We see Duke UNC the other night. 30 seconds into the game, my man goes down on a half spin, blows his sneaker out, and now we're here with all these questions. What can this one incident mean for the rest of the NBA?
A couple hours later, bro.
Seriously, yeah.
A couple hours later, they come out with the proposal to the Players Association. They need to lower the age from 1 year in the college level to 18 years old. When was the last time we saw that? LeBron James. After that, it was no one else is gonna be able to come out of high school good enough. Like in terms of Zion level, we saw Monte Ellis, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to bring it all the way back,
talk about the players that came.
We'll bring it all the way back. It started in '89 with Sean Kemp, right? Coming right out of high school, he actually was on Kentucky. He didn't play a game, so it still counts as a high school drafted to the NBA. You keep moving on. You got names. 2005, C.J. Miles, Monte Ellis, Lou Williams, guys that have had solid careers. Now the question is, a rule change like this, there has to be a certain exception. You look at a guy like Zion, right? He's a guy that just the eye test tells you he's ready for the league. Now you change the rule, and these 18-year-olds can just say you think you're ready. That's not enough. That's why something needs to be implemented where you got NBA scouts / evaluators that are saying, listen, this kid really is ready, as opposed to the guy actually thinking he is. Because listen, we see guys in college all the time. We think they can be that guy in NBA, and they're not. So there comes a point where's the happy medium?
But we think Zion's different.
Listen, yeah, he's a different breed. A guy like LeBron, something like that. But you can't just, everyone thinks they can make the NBA, obviously. 18 years old. From 12 to 18 years old, you think you can make the NBA. Come on. And then reality hits you. Or the NBA actually hits you and you're not ready for it. So that's guys like
Zion's gonna hit the NBA.
Yeah, he will hit the NBA.
Zion's gonna hit the
NBA. And then 2001, a guy like Kwame Brown coming out of high school. Tyson Chandler in that draft, Eddie Curry, right? You move along, 2003, you got LeBron, obviously. Travis Outlaw, not even a household name anymore. Kendrick Perkins in that draft as well. 2004, Dwight Howard, Sean Livingston, and some guy, Swift. He got drafted to the Sonics, never played a game. So it's like college can be beneficial to these guys. 3-4 years can make them an NBA player. That jump is not for everybody. And then there came a point between 2004 2005 where the NBA was like, listen, we're drafting way too many guys out of high school. This isn't beneficial. Basically, 2005, the biggest high school draft they've ever had. Andrew Bynum, Gerald Green, C.J. Miles, Monte Ellis, Lou Williams, Amir Johnson.
Only two people out of that group is Gerald Green and Amir Johnson.
And Martell Webster, actually also in that draft, drafted 6th. And he never became anything that crazy. Bounced around 6-7 teams his NBA career. And that last year was 2005 where they really figured out, listen, 2006 they had a rule change. Either you got to go to college or you're 1 year removed from high school. So, you look at LaMelo, for instance, right now, right?
Yeah, so that's where it gets touchy, right? You can't have exceptions for players. You can't be like, well, he's better than everyone else, so we're going to let him go to the NBA. It's one or the other. I feel like they should go to college. This is, and I'm talking more on the education side of things, and we'll talk about players getting paid and all that. But yes, they go to college, they get full ride scholarships. Those scholarships cover education. They don't cover the cost for a lot of the cost for the team, even though we know that's done. But technically on paper,
under the table, we understand.
Yes, we know that. Yeah. But education, these players are trying to be businessmen in the future, right? This is where it's headed, right?
College basketball's business, and NBA is even more.
Players are trying to be businessmen in the future.
Yes.
The basics, the reason why people now are hiring people to do stuff for them is because they didn't go to college.
True.
You don't go to college. You don't learn the basics. You don't learn the all around nature of something that you're trying to get involved in the future. You're gonna spend your money that you earn for other people to do it for you. When you can safely develop your game, hopefully not injure yourself, and get basic knowledge. We all know NBA players. Future NBA players don't have to keep their GPA up.
No, listen,
it's not
they're there to play ball, my guy.
Exactly.
Right?
They're there to play ball. They're not there to keep their GPA up. 2.0 GPA, they'll still play on the team. That's 100%. How it works.
You think Zion Williams is studying the books right now? Listen, he's a smart young man, high IQ. You can see the way he talks. But come on, man.
Exactly. Now I get it, right? Shut it down. Stop playing. Preserve yourself. Totally fine. But, you're going to walk out on your team? Would you do that?
It's tough, though. Like, you have to look. It's honestly, he has to make the best decision for himself. You have to understand something. A guy like him, the minute he signs an NBA contract, his life has changed forever, along with his family and generations to come. So this is serious money. What you're talking about. The minute he signs an NBA contract, also Nike deal around the table, $100 million Nike deal.
He's set.
It's something like that. So
let's talk about
fire
let's
right
talk
now.
about a player in general. Let's not talk about Zion. He's set. He has the money waiting
A
for
player
him on the table.
Yes.
So, I don't think players should shut it down. I'm just saying because, I mean, the college level isn't as involved as the NBA level, and you see a lot of same systems all around the country, same coaching styles, whatever, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. But that experience alone, man, like 5 players out of every draft now are the only players we talk about every year now.
That's true.
It's very important for you to get that college experience.
And I mean, listen, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, it's more beneficial to more guys to get that 2-3 years in college. That'll make them better NBA players. Like, that's where you have to talk about the exception, right? And let's bring this up too. Now, they implemented this thing, I believe, 2 years ago with the NBA, where instead of going to college, you can go to the D League, now known as the G League, right? And they'll pay you $125K to play there for a year. Then you can apply, if applicable, for the NBA draft, right? They give you $125K, you play there, or you get the college experience. It was one or the other. But what's the incentive of going? You're getting money, right? But at the end of the day, these guys are playing at the Dukes, the Kentuckys, the Kansases. They're on full rides, right? So what's the incentive to go play in a G League where
you'll get called up every now and then?
You're not. Well, no. Actually, the rule is you're not on a 2-way. You're not allowed to be called up. If you're on that 1 year thing, $125K, you're not allowed.
Really?
Yes. So
only 2 ways you're allowed to get called up.
Yeah, well, you're not under a 2-way.
Oh, that's a new rule because before the 2 ways you get called up at any time.
That's a normal one. But if you're a young kid, no. But the college experience is nothing like it though. The ability to compete in a March Madness, right? That's the high competition that these guys would like. So it's hard to what's better for you. That's what you have to ask yourself as a player, right? But we have to talk about Zion, but this is what sparked it all, right? So like, should he shut it down, right? Is it going to affect his future in the NBA?
Okay, for players like Zion, for players like RJ Barrett, for players like Cam Reddish, whose NBA careers are potentially decades long, if you feel like you should go to the G League and not have to play in college, go ahead. But for players who aren't as high prospects, I would advise them not to do that because the G League is a jungle. The G League is literally like it's
people
not
frown
easy.
upon it. That's not a joke, bro.
Yeah, the G League is dudes who are fighting. They're fighting for spots.
Yeah,
they are willing to sweat tears. Like they're willing to sweat and bleed and cry on the court until they get an NBA contract.
And it's starting to get even more and more looked at because, like, for instance, Chris Middleton, first-time All-Star, started in the D League. Now he's an NBA All-Star.
Actually, some of the more valuable role players
in the
literally this season I've come out the G League in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So do what you will with that.
There's no frown upon that because that is legit. But the question is, are these guys willing to, take an ego hit, right, and say, listen, I'll go play there instead of a college team? And, the money involved in this whole situation.
Well, that's why they would do it. They're not going to do it for basketball. They're going to be like, well, I'm almost guaranteed an NBA spot. I'll just go make some money before I get that spot.
It's tough. Let me just bring it back a little bit. 2009, there was a new trend going on in the draft where they were just drafting a lot of guys from overseas. Brandon Jennings, one of those guys, played overseas first.
Where did he play?
I don't really know, but we know how his rookie season went, and it was great. It kind of fell off, but a guy who was a good NBA player, Moutier, he picked overseas instead of college. So that's the other question: do they go play overseas instead now for this year, for that 1 year?
I would like to see more of that.
Overseas isn't a joke either.
That thing when Luka Doncic tweeted, he was like, just go overseas.
He's not kidding. Like, look at him.
And then people also frown upon overseas. Like, no, they play real basketball there.
These kids play against grown men. Luka Doncic was playing against men since he was 13 years old. So like now look at him. Kristaps Porzingis.
Luka Doncic was there. Who's some of the French players? Louis Cabral started playing there,
and no one really knows who he is. But
yeah, but he's a role player. He's not much.
He's getting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the point. So overseas you're playing against grown men. D League you're playing against men who are fighting for an NBA contract, and college is kind of like, listen, we understand these guys are getting paid under the table, and that's just the truth. But also comes out Zion has that $10 million, $8 million insurance policy.
$100 million.
No, insurance policy for in case he got injured. In case he gets seriously injured in college, and that's basically to cover him or something to that extent. But the fact that
all I know is he gets a majority of that regardless.
The fact that these colleges are making revenue and money off of these blockbuster superstar players and they're not getting a dime from it, that's another part of it. Now that brings up, should college players get paid? Listen, and then there's another exception. Like a guy like him, you saw the other night, The cheapest ticket was $2,500. It was
no. There's one at 10K.
Yeah, but I'm talking the cheapest ticket was $2,500.
Oh, cheapest ticket.
Cheapest ticket to get like, unless you're a student there, right?
No, obviously, yeah.
Cheaper. That was more expensive than a Super Bowl ticket, right? And 30 seconds into the game, he ain't playing. Everyone goes there to see him. I understand Duke UNC rivalry, but come on, you're going to see Zion Williamson. Barack Obama's sitting courtside, okay? So it's like he's not getting any of that, but Coach K is getting paid that money.
I mean, Brian, me and you were watching the game live, and we were just like, "Oh God, oh my God, please, nothing happened to him." Seriously, I thought he rolled his ankle, and then you told me no, he broke through his shoe, and then I saw him grab his knee. I was like, "Oh, damn." I hope that's not like a hyperextension or like something that's bad.
No, he's lucky. The sprained knee, like, that's you know. Yeah, listed day to day. LeBron was also listed day to day Christmas, but took 18 games.
And some players who go into college, like I feel like, especially like big men, right? You have to be really special because Zion technically is like a 6'9".
No, he's a 6'7".
6'7".
Yeah.
Okay, so dudes who are like, don't fit in like the evolving game, right? Like we remember Raheem Christmas. I remember watching Raheem Christmas playing for Syracuse.
Yeah,
he just spent his whole college career there because he knew I don't know what it was, but I don't think he thought he was gonna get a real shot at the NBA until he got signed by the Pacers, and then I think eventually got waived or something like that.
Like granted, some guys are built just for the college game. Like you see a Grayson Allen, right?
Every team needs a center in college. Every team needs a center in college.
100%. And centers, they seem to flourish in college, and you don't really know if they take that step until you risk them. You risk them, they come to the league, and then you see what they really are.
I mean, do you really expect Luke May to be successful in the NBA at this point?
No, I was just talking about it the other day with my friends. He's not an NBA player. He's built for the college system. That's why he flourishes in UNC. Like, you just look at his build. He's not multi-dimensional, right? He's like a forward. He can finish, shoot the mid-range, something crazy, but not an NBA guy. Grayson Allen really isn't an NBA guy either.
Why not?
You see him in Utah. Not first of all, where you get drafted matters too. You have to understand that. If you get the opportunity, listen, anything can happen. But a guy like him, being the guy at Duke for 4 years, comes to the league in Utah, was he guard off the bench at most right now. So you don't really know what he's about. But he just doesn't have that game, I believe, in the league. And you look at these guys overseas playing against grown men. Luka Doncic. People are like, who is this kid, right? He's the rookie of the year. That's who he is.
I don't. People, you need to wake up about LaMelo Ball. I was saying this when people were like, "Nah, Lithuania ain't shit. Lithuania's trash. Everyone who goes overseas doesn't know how to really play the game." No, now look what y'all saying about LaMelo now. Draymond Green just signs with Clutch Sports.
Hate to segue into that, but it always comes back to to who?
LeBron. Back to LaMelo, man.
Yeah.
Stop, man. LiAngelo is a baller, but he's obviously, I don't know what's going on with LiAngelo. What's going on with LiAngelo? Nothing. He's not playing
right now. As far as I know, is
LaMelo's the real deal. That's all it is.
Listen, he's a 6'9" point guard.
You know why LaMelo's the real deal? Because he played against grown men and overseas.
I can't argue that. And listen, that's real down there. Forget his father. Take his father out of the equation. Is the kid a baller? Yes. Listen, but his father is the reason why we talk about them in such a light. Listen.
Yeah. All in all, whatever it is, it's so touchy. So many. There's three major different angles. Obviously, the G League, the collegiate level. If you stay there the whole time, and then Darius Baisley. Remember, Darius Baisley said, "No, I'm not signing with Syracuse. I'm rescinding my commitment to Syracuse, and I'm gonna try to make money." Well, how are you gonna make the money if you're not on the biggest stage in basketball? One of the biggest stages in basketball. I mean, seriously, he could have been straight out of high school if the rule wasn't there. That's the thing. That's why he didn't sign with Syracuse or commit to Syracuse. He said he wanted to possibly go to the G League, is what I heard, and have a sneaker deal. But how are you gonna get that sneaker deal if you don't go to the college?
But the money to be made and the risk in, listen. We asked the question: should he shut it down for the next 3-4 months? Right?
Zion.
I mean, yeah, Zion. Exactly. It's tough, but let's just end on something like this. Like, for the majority, kids stay in school. Honestly, ballers stay in school. Right?
I agree.
It's interesting. Clearly, the jury sides on the side of staying, but for those few clear exceptions, there should be a rule. But finding some fair rule is tough. Honestly,
right.
That's where the talent evaluators need to step in. And you have to find a happy medium between figuring out, is this kid ready and this kid isn't, basically. But even that, it's hard to tell. And listen, there's no answer to this right now. We'll get to it probably. The NBA is going to have to make a change. But from where we stand now, it's just hypotheticals right now.
Stay in school, kids. Just saying.
Always.
Doesn't matter what you're going to do. You got to stay in school to get your basic education for anything.
Unless you're LeBron James.
All right. You always got to bring it to LeBron.